The bright lights of the galactic archives never turned off. Even in the middle of the night cycle, the enormous building stayed lit, a beacon of knowledge in the capital city of the Galactic Council. Inside these walls, billions of records from thousands of worlds were stored, studied, and protected. Taeho Kim had worked in the archives for 20 years. As chief archivist, he was responsible for all the knowledge collected by the Council over centuries. He was tall and thin, with gray streaks in his black hair, and he wore the traditional blue robes of his office. Most days he enjoyed his quiet work among the ancient texts and digital records. Today was different. Today, Taeho's hands shook as he stared at the screen in front of him. "Jiwoo, come look at this," he called to his assistant. Jiwoo Park hurried over. She was young, smart, and eager to learn. Her dark eyes widened as she looked at the screen. "Is this correct, sir? There must be a mistake in the translation." Taeho shook his head. "I've checked it 3 times. The translation is accurate." On the screen was a text from a civilization called the Midorians. They had died out 8,000 years ago, but their records had survived. The text referred to a planet called Earth, but it used another name too, Death World. "But Earth is classified as a Class 3 habitable world," Jiwoo said. "It's not dangerous at all." "According to our current records, yes," Taeho agreed. "But this text clearly states Earth is a Class 12 death world, the highest classification possible. Class 12 worlds were planets so dangerous that nothing should be able to live there. Extreme gravity, poisonous air, deadly radiation, violent weather, and dangerous creatures. A Class 12 world had all of these things. How could we get this so wrong?" Jiwoo asked. "I don't know," Taeho said. "But according to this text, Earth's inhabitants have hidden their world's true nature from us. They've fooled our sensors somehow. We need to tell the Council right away." Taeho held up his hand. "Not yet. We need more proof first. Counselor Lee will just say it's a translation error if we go to him now." Counselor Yunbin Lee oversaw the archives department. He was known for his strict rules and dislike of anything that disturbed normal routine. "What should we do?" Jiwoo asked. "There's another archive," Taeho said quietly. "Below this one. Few people know about it. It contains records deemed too sensitive or dangerous for general access." "Is that legal?" "I'm the chief archivist. I have clearance." Taeho stood up. "Come with me." They took a private elevator down, far below the main archives. Taeho used 3 different security keys to open the doors. Inside was a smaller room with older storage systems. "These records go back to the founding of the Council," Taeho explained. "If there's any information about Earth's true nature, it will be here." They searched for hours. Finally, Jiwoo called out, "Taeho, I found something." She had accessed a sealed file called Prohibited Species. Inside was a single entry, humans. "Earth is home to a species called humans," Taeho read aloud. "But why would they be in a prohibited file?" The answer came as they read further. Humans had evolved on a planet with gravity 2.5 times stronger than standard Council worlds. Their air contained oxygen at levels toxic to most species. Their world had extreme temperature variations, from burning deserts to freezing poles. Their oceans covered most of the planet with water that would drown most Council species in minutes. But worst of all were the life forms. Earth contained millions of different species, many of them deadly. Microscopic organisms that caused terrible diseases, plants that could poison with a touch, animals that hunted using venom, teeth, and claws. And humans had not just survived this nightmare world, they had conquered it. "This can't be right," Jiwoo whispered. "If this is true, humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy." Taeho looked grim. "And they've been hiding among us, pretending to be normal." The file contained more disturbing information. Humans had bones made of calcium, stronger than the cartilage supports of most Council species. Their muscles were dense and powerful. They could survive injuries that would kill others instantly. They could go days without water, weeks without food. They could heal from wounds that would be fatal to any Council member. "Why was this information locked away?" Jiwoo asked. "Shouldn't everyone know?" "Look at the date," Taeho pointed. "This file was sealed 300 years ago. right after first contact with Earth. But why? I think someone decided the truth would cause too much panic, Taiho said. If people knew that humans came from a death world, that they're basically super beings compared to us, there would be fear, maybe even war. Just then, Taiho's communication device beeped. It was a message from Counselor Lee. He wants to see us immediately, Taiho said. Someone noticed our search. They returned to the main level of the archives. Counselor Hyunbin Lee waited for them, his face stern. He was shorter than Taiho, but carried himself with authority. His gray council uniform was perfectly pressed. Explain yourselves, he demanded. Why were you accessing prohibited files? Taiho showed him the Midorian text. We found a reference to Earth as a death world, not the Class 3 world it's registered as. We were checking if there was any supporting evidence. Lee's face paled slightly. And did you find anything? Yes, Jiwoo said. A file about humans. It confirms everything. You should not have seen that file, Lee said. His voice was tight. That information is classified at the highest level. Why? Taiho asked. Don't people deserve to know the truth? The truth? Lee laughed, but there was no humor in it. The truth is that if the general population knew what humans really are, there would be galaxy-wide panic. But we've been in contact with Earth for 300 years, Jiwoo said. They've joined the Council. They have representatives here on the capital planet. Yes, Lee said, and in all that time they've never shown their true nature. They've been careful, considerate even. They understand how frightening they would seem to us if we knew the truth. So the Council leadership knows? Taiho asked. Lee nodded. A select few. We monitor them carefully. This isn't right, Jiwoo protested. It's dangerous to keep such a secret. Before Lee could respond, an alert sounded throughout the building. Red emergency lights flashed. What's happening? Jiwoo asked. Lee checked his device and his face turned white. There's been a security breach in the diplomatic quarter. Someone attacked the Earth ambassador's assistant. Was the human hurt? Taiho asked. No, Lee said. His voice was barely audible. The human is fine. The attackers, 3 Brulation warriors, are all dead. The human killed them with his bare hands. Taiho and Jiwoo stared at each other in horror. It's starting, Lee whispered. After 300 years of peace, someone discovered the truth and decided to test it. Now everyone will know. Know what? Jiwoo asked, though she already feared the answer. That humans aren't just from a death world, Lee said. In the ancient texts, Earth has one more name, the Cradle of Nightmares. And now the nightmares have been awakened. We need to contain this, Taiho said urgently. If people find out suddenly, without preparation, there could be violence, even war. The council is meeting in 1 hour, Lee said. All senior officials have been called. As chief archivist, you should attend, Taiho. Bring everything you've found. What about me? Jiwoo asked. Lee hesitated, then nodded. You're already involved. Besides, we'll need young, clear eyes for what's coming. As they hurried to prepare for the council meeting, Taiho pulled Jiwoo aside. There's one more thing in the file you should know, he said quietly. The reason humans were truly feared, even more than their physical abilities. What could be worse? Jiwoo asked. Their minds, Taiho said. Humans evolved on a world that tried to kill them at every turn. Their entire history is a story of survival against impossible odds. They've fought countless wars against each other, survived natural disasters we can't imagine. They've adapted to every challenge. And that makes them the most dangerous beings in the galaxy, Taiho said. Because while other species evolved in comfortable environments, humans evolved to overcome, to solve problems, to never give up. You sound almost admiring, Jiwoo noted. Taiho looked troubled. Perhaps I am. But I'm also terrified. Because if humans decide we're a threat to them, I don't think the combined forces of the entire Galactic Council could stop them. As they walked toward the council chambers, the enormity of their discovery weighed on them. The truth about Earth, about humans, had been hidden for centuries. Now that truth was about to change everything. The secret name of Earth had been uncovered. Soon the whole galaxy would know they had been living alongside creatures from a death world. And no one could predict what would happen next. The Grand Council chamber was a massive room with high ceilings and seats for representatives from over 500 worlds. Today only the inner council was present, 12 senior members who made the most important decisions for the galaxy. Taiho Kim and Jiwoo Park sat near the back, nervous about being in such powerful company. Counselor Hyunbin Lee had joined the others at the main table. At the head of the table sat High Counselor Min Jae Hwang. He was old, with white hair and a serious face lined by years of responsibility. When he spoke, even the other council members listened with respect. "We face an unprecedented situation," Min Jae said. "The attack on the Earth representative has forced our hand. We can no longer hide what we know about humans and their homeworld." "With respect, High Counselor," said a voice from the side. "We don't all know. Some of us have been kept in the dark." The speaker was Commander Do-Yun Choi, head of Galactic Intelligence. He was a stocky man with short hair and a direct gaze. His uniform bore the insignia of the highest military rank in Council space. "You're right, Commander," Min Jae nodded. "This secret has been closely guarded. Perhaps too closely." "Then perhaps someone should explain," Do-Hyun said, "what exactly humans are." All eyes turned to an elderly woman who had been quiet until now. Dr. Sungmin Kang was the Council's senior xenobiologist, an expert on alien life forms. She rose slowly. "Humans," she began, "evolved on a planet we call Earth. But its true classification is a Class 12 death world, the most extreme environment capable of producing intelligent life." She activated a display. In the center of the room, a hologram of Earth appeared, spinning slowly. "It looks pleasant enough," someone commented. "This is why humans have been able to hide their true nature," Sungmin continued. "Earth appears normal from space, but conditions on the surface are extreme by our standards." The hologram changed to show Earth's various environments: vast oceans, burning deserts, frozen polar regions, dense jungles, high mountains. "Earth's gravity is 2.5 times stronger than Council standard," Sungmin explained. "Its atmospheric pressure is nearly double what most Council species find comfortable. Oxygen levels would be toxic to many of us." "And the humans themselves?" Do-Hyun asked. Sungmin brought up an image of a human body with highlights showing the skeleton and muscles. "Humans have an internal skeleton made of calcium, much stronger than our cartilage supports. Their muscles are dense and powerful. Their skin can repair itself from wounds. They have redundant organs, 2 lungs, 2 kidneys. They can lose significant amounts of blood and survive." The council members looked disturbed. One of them, a representative from a low-gravity world, seemed particularly upset. "Are you saying they're some kind of super beings?" he asked. "By our standards, yes," Sungmin admitted. "A human could break any of our bones with minimal effort. They can run faster, endure longer, survive injuries that would kill any of us instantly." Silence fell over the room as everyone processed this information. "But that's not all," Sungmin continued. "What truly makes humans dangerous is their evolutionary history. They evolved as pursuit predators. What does that mean?" Jiwoo asked, forgetting she was supposed to stay quiet. Sungmin didn't seem to mind the question. "Most predator species in the galaxy are ambush hunters. They hide then strike quickly. Humans are different. They chase their prey until it collapsed from exhaustion." "That doesn't sound very effective," someone commented. "It is when you have their endurance," Sungmin said. "Humans can regulate their body temperature by sweating. They can run for hours without stopping. Few animals on their world could outrun a determined human over long distances." The implications sank in slowly. Humans hadn't just survived on a deadly world. They had been shaped by it into something terrifying. "If what you say is true," Do-Hyun said, "then humans are potentially the most dangerous species in Council space. Yet for 300 years they've lived among us peacefully. Why?" High Counselor Min Jae answered this question. "Because they choose to. When we first contacted Earth, they were already a spacefaring civilization. They could have conquered nearby systems if they wanted. Instead, they joined the Council and abided by our laws. And hidden their true nature from us," Do-Hyun pointed out. "Yes," Min Jae admitted. "When first contact was made, the team that landed on Earth suffered severe trauma. 3 members had heart failure just from witnessing human children playing, activities that would kill most species. The humans noticed our distress and adjusted their behavior when dealing with us. They've been pretending to be weaker than they are, Taeho realized, to make us comfortable. Precisely, Minjae said. And we, a select few in council leadership, agreed to classify the true nature of Earth to prevent panic. That secret can no longer be maintained, Councillor Hyunbin Lee said. Not after today's incident. What exactly happened? Jiwoo asked. Do-hyun answered. 3 Brulation warriors attacked the human ambassador's assistant in what appears to be an attempt to test human capabilities. Security cameras recorded the entire incident. He activated another display. The recording showed a hallway in the diplomatic quarter. A human male walked alone. 3 large beings, Brulations known for their strength and warrior culture, surrounded him. What happened next was too fast to follow clearly. The human moved with incredible speed. There was a brief struggle, and then all 3 Brulations were on the ground. The human appeared uninjured. This recording is already spreading across information networks, Do-hyun said. People are asking questions we can no longer avoid answering. Then we must decide how to proceed, Minjae said. Commander Do-hyun, what is your assessment of the threat humans pose? Do-hyun considered before answering. Based on what I've learned today, humans could potentially overpower any council species in direct combat. However, they remain significantly outnumbered. I recommend assembling a discreet investigation team to assess their true capabilities and intentions. I agree, Minjae said. Commander Do-hyun, you will lead this investigation. Dr. Sungmin will assist you. You will establish a research base on Proxima Station, close to Earth's solar system. What are you looking for exactly? Taeho asked. Verification, Minjae said. We need to confirm everything we think we know about humans. And we need to determine if they pose a genuine threat to the Council. And if they do? Jiwoo asked quietly. Minjae's face was grim. Then we must consider options for our security. You mean war, Taeho said. I mean survival, Minjae corrected. But let us hope it doesn't come to that. The meeting concluded with the formation of the investigation team. As people filed out, Taeho pulled Jiwoo aside. We should join the investigation, he said. As archivists, we have access to historical records that might be useful. Do you think they'll let us? Jiwoo asked. I'll insist, Taeho said. Besides, I think Do-hyun will want our help. They approached Commander Do-hyun as he was leaving. When they offered their assistance, he readily accepted. We leave for Proxima Station tomorrow, he told them. Pack only essentials. This mission is classified. As they prepared to leave, news of the incident with the human diplomat spread through the capital. People were confused, scared. Rumors began to circulate. On Proxima Station, the investigation team set up their research center. The station was small but well-equipped, with advanced sensors directed toward Earth's solar system. Our first task, Do-hyun explained to the team, is to verify the claims about Earth's environment. Are the gravity, atmospheric composition, and biodiversity really as extreme as reported? Dr. Sungmin calibrated the sensors herself. These are our most advanced models, she said. They should give us accurate readings regardless of any masking technology Earth might be using. The results came back quickly. Earth's gravity was indeed 2.5 times standard. Its atmosphere contained oxygen at levels that would be poisonous to many species. Its biodiversity included countless organisms that would be lethal to most council members. So the reports were accurate, Do-hyun said. It appears so, Sungmin agreed. But there's more we need to check. Human physiology, is it really as formidable as we've been told? They analyzed medical data provided during first contact. Comparing it with recent scans of humans living on council worlds revealed disturbing contradictions. They've been falsifying their medical records, Sungmin said. According to the data they provided, their bone density is similar to standard council species. But our scans show it's actually 5 times denser, meaning they're much stronger than they claim, Do-hyun said. Exactly. Sungmin nodded. Their muscle fiber density, cardiovascular capacity, neural response times, all significantly higher than reported. Taeho and Jiwoo focused on historical research. They compiled Earth's publicly available history and compared it with the ancient records they discovered. Look at this, Jiwoo said one day. Humans claim they've had 10 major wars in their history, but these older records suggest they've had thousands of conflicts, some involving their entire planet. Their whole history is one of constant warfare, Taiho said. They evolved on a world where everything was trying to kill them, including each other. Do-hyun reviewed their findings with growing concern. So humans evolved in an environment of constant danger and competition. They developed strength, speed, and endurance far beyond council norms, and they have a history of solving problems through conflict. The capital planet was in chaos when Commander Do-hyun Choi and his team returned from Proxima Station. News of the incident with the human diplomat had spread across all information networks. Rumors about Earth and humans were everywhere. It's worse than I expected, Do-hyun said as their ship approached the spaceport. The normally orderly traffic lanes were congested. Security vessels patrolled in increased numbers. People are scared, Dr. Sungmin Kang observed. Fear makes people behave irrationally. They were met at the landing pad by a council security team. The officer in charge, Captain Dongwon Bae, looked stressed. The council is waiting for you, he said without greeting. The emergency session begins in 1 hour. Has the human ambassador arrived yet? Taeho Kim asked. Yes, Dongwon replied, his expression grim. Ambassador Ji Ho-yoon and his staff are in the diplomatic wing under guard. For their protection, officially. And unofficially? Ji-woo Park asked. Dongwon glanced around before answering quietly. Some council members are worried about what humans might do now that their secret is out. The security team escorted them through crowded corridors. People moved aside, watching them pass with suspicious eyes. News screens on the wall showed the same images over and over. The human diplomat defeating 3 Brulation warriors without apparent effort. The inner council was already gathered when they arrived. High Counselor Min Jae Hwang looked older than he had just days ago, the stress evident on his face. Next to him, Counselor Hunbin Lee was engaged in a heated argument with another member. We should expel them from council space immediately, the other counselor was saying. Taiho recognized her as Yona Shin, the cultural anthropologist who had recently joined the council. They've been lying to us for centuries, and risk provoking them, Yunbin countered. Have you seen the reports from Proxima Station? Humans could tear through our defenses like paper. Enough, Minji said, noticing the new arrivals. Commander Do-hyun, your team has returned just in time. Please share your findings with the full council. Do-hyun stepped forward, his face composed despite the tension in the room. He summarized their research methodically. The confirmation of Earth's extreme environment. The evidence of humans' enhanced physical capabilities. Their history of conflict and survival. Based on our analysis, he concluded, humans possess strength, speed, and endurance far beyond any council species. Their sensory perception is more acute, their reaction time faster, and their bodies able to withstand conditions that would kill most of us instantly. The council chamber fell silent. Then Director Jun-ho Han of Council Intelligence spoke up. Commander, based on your findings, what threat assessment would you assign to humans? Do-hyun considered his words carefully. Humans have the physical capability to pose a significant threat. However, their behavior over 300 years of contact suggests a preference for peaceful coexistence. But they've been hiding their true nature all this time, Yona objected. How can we trust anything about them? Before Do-hyun could respond, the chamber doors opened. A council aide hurried in looking alarmed. High Counselor, the aide said to Min-jae, there's been an incident at the Environmental Regulation Center. What kind of incident? Min-jae asked sharply. A malfunction in the atmospheric control systems, the aide explained. A section of the diplomatic quarter was flooded with Nexar gas. Gasps came from around the room. Nexar gas was highly toxic to most council species. A few breaths would cause paralysis and death within minutes. Casualties? Do-hyun asked. The aide's expression became confused. That's just it, Commander. The only beings in that section were the human diplomatic staff. According to emergency protocols, they should all be dead. But they're fine, completely unaffected. The human ambassador is demanding to know why deadly gas was released near their quarters. Stunned silence filled the chamber, broken finally by Dr. Sungmin. Nexar gas must not be toxic to humans, she said. Another physiological difference we didn't know about. Or they knew it was coming, Yona suggested darkly. High Counselor Min-jae stood. We need to address this immediately. Ambassador Ji-ho has requested to speak to the council. Given these events, I think we should hear what he has to say. Is that wise? Yona asked. What if this is the prelude to some kind of attack? Ambassador Ji-ho has been a respected representative for 15 years, Yunbin pointed out. He's never shown any hostility. Besides, Do-hyun added, if humans wanted to attack us, they could have done so already. They don't need a pretext, Min-jae nodded. Commander Do-hyun is right. We will hear the ambassador. Security, please escort him in, alone. The council members shifted nervously as they waited. Taeho leaned close to Jiwoo. This is unprecedented, he whispered. No matter what happens next, galactic history will change today. The doors opened again. Ambassador Ji-ho-yoon entered, accompanied by 2 council guards who looked distinctly uncomfortable in their duty. Ji-ho himself was calm, his face composed. He was of average height for a human, with short black hair showing hints of gray at the temples. He wore the simple blue diplomatic uniform of Earth without weapons or armor. High Counselor, esteemed members of the council. Ji-ho bowed slightly. Thank you for agreeing to see me at such short notice. Ambassador, Min-jae acknowledged him with a nod. You requested this meeting. Please state your purpose. Ji-ho looked around the room, taking note of the tense faces watching him. I understand there has been some concern regarding Earth and its people following recent events. Concern? Yona's voice was sharp. You've concealed the true nature of your world and your species for 300 years. That goes well beyond concern. Ji-ho didn't appear offended by her tone. I appreciate your directness, Counselor Shin. You're correct that we have not been fully forthcoming about certain aspects of our homeworld and physiology. For this, I offer an explanation, though not an apology. The distinction was not lost on anyone present. We learned early in our interactions with other species that our natural abilities caused discomfort, Ji-ho continued. When your first contact team landed on Earth, 3 of your members suffered heart failure just watching a human child playing in a park. We decided then that full disclosure would only lead to unnecessary fear. Fear? Do-hyun asked. Or appropriate caution? Ji-ho turned to face him. Commander Do-hyun Choi, correct? The officer who led the investigation at Proxima Station. Do-hyun stiffened. How did you know about that? A small smile crossed Ji-ho's face. Earth maintains its own observation posts, Commander. We've been aware of your investigation since it began. Murmurs of alarm spread through the council. Ji-ho raised a hand. Please understand, we made no attempt to interfere with your research. We respect the council's right to gather information. Yet you concealed information from us for centuries. Hyunbin pointed out. We provided the information we believed necessary for peaceful coexistence, Ji-ho corrected. We saw no need to cause distress by emphasizing our differences. What about the incident with the Brulation warriors? Do-hyun asked. Your diplomatic assistant killed 3 beings with his bare hands. For the first time, irritation flickered across Ji-ho's face. My assistant defended himself against an unprovoked attack. He used minimal force by human standards. The fact that this resulted in the deaths of his attackers was regrettable, but not his fault. Minimal force? Yona repeated incredulously. He broke their spines! As I said, Ji-ho's voice remained calm. Minimal by our standards. Had he used what you might call moderate force, there would have been nothing left of them to identify. A chill seemed to spread through the chamber at his words. Director Junho Han spoke up. Ambassador, I must ask directly. Why have humans concealed their military capabilities from the Council? Ji-ho's answer stunned the room to silence. What you call our military capabilities are merely the tools average humans use for recreation. What you've discovered in your investigation isn't our strength, it's our restraint. No one spoke for several long moments. Finally, High Counselor Min-jae found his voice. Ambassador Ji-ho, I must ask you plainly. Do humans pose a threat to the Galactic Council and its member worlds? Ji-ho's expression became serious. Humans don't seek conflict, but we evolved in an environment that taught us to be prepared for it. Our history is written in survival against impossible odds. We don't want war. We've seen enough of it on our own world to last millennia. But we will not be threatened. The implication was clear to everyone. It wasn't a direct threat, but a warning. The incident at the Environmental Control Center, Min-jae said. Were you affected by the Nexar gas? Nexar gas is mildly irritating to human respiratory systems, Ji-ho said. Similar to what you might experience from strong spices. Nothing more? And you believe this was a deliberate attack? Min-jae pressed. I make no accusations, Ji-ho replied diplomatically. But the timing immediately before this meeting suggests it was not entirely accidental. Perhaps someone wished to test our vulnerabilities. Do-hyun exchanged glances with Dr. Sung-min. The implications were disturbing. If Nexar gas, lethal to most council species, was merely irritating to humans, what else might they be immune to? What happens now, Ambassador? Binge asked. The truth about Earth, about humans, is spreading across council space. People are frightened, as they have no reason to be, Jiho said firmly. The days following Ambassador Jiho's appearance before the council were tense. The capital planet buzzed with rumors. Some said war with Earth was imminent. Others claimed humans were already infiltrating key positions throughout council space. Taiho Kim found himself unable to sleep. As chief archivist, he had access to information most citizens didn't. He knew just how dangerous humans could be, but also that they had never shown aggression toward the council in 3 centuries of contact. You look tired, Jiwoo Park said when she found him in the archives. Reviewing ancient texts again? I am, Taiho admitted. I keep thinking we're missing something important. Like what? I don't know. But there must be a reason why humans have stayed peaceful all these years, despite their capabilities. The council remained in nearly constant session, debating how to respond to Earth's invitation. Opinion was divided. Some, like Councillor Yona Shin, advocated for immediate military action. Others, including Councillor Hyunbin Lee, urged caution and diplomacy. Commander Do-hyun Choi and his team continued their research. Dr. Sung-min Kang focused on understanding human physiology better. She obtained permission to examine entertainment media from Earth, shows and games humans created for themselves when they weren't pretending to be less capable for the Council's comfort. This is disturbing, Sung-min said one evening as the research team gathered to review her findings. The display showed clips from human entertainment, beings jumping from great heights, fighting with incredible speed, surviving injuries that would kill any council species instantly. These are their fictional stories? Jiwoo asked. Things they imagine? No, Sungmin said. These are recordings of their recreational activities. What they do for fun. Everyone stared at the images in shock. A human was lifting an object that must have weighed as much as a small transport vehicle. Another was running at speeds that blurred the recording. A third fell from a height that should have been fatal and walked away laughing. And this, Sungmin continued, showing another recording, is what human children watch for education and entertainment. The new recording showed massive predators with sharp teeth tearing apart other animals, while a calm voice explained the behavior as normal. They show this to their young? Do-hyun asked, horrified. They call it a nature documentary, Sungmin explained. Apparently these creatures exist on Earth. Humans keep them in protected areas as a way to preserve their natural heritage. Their natural heritage includes such monsters? Jiwoo whispered. It gets worse, Sungmin said, switching to another recording. These are human children at play. The images showed young humans climbing tall structures, falling without injury, wrestling with each other using strength that would kill adult members of most council species, and handling dangerous tools with casual ease. Their young are already more powerful than our adults, Do-hyun said quietly. And they grow up seeing violence and danger as normal, Taeho added. Director Junho Han, who had been watching silently until now, spoke up. This information must be presented to the full council immediately. They need to understand what we're dealing with. When Sungmin shared her findings with the council the next day, the reaction was one of horror and fear. Councillor Yona Shin immediately called for military action. We cannot allow such dangerous beings to remain within council space, she insisted. They must be contained or eliminated. High Councillor Min Jae-hwang raised his hands for silence. Before we make any decisions, I want to hear from our military experts. Director Junho, what would happen if we attempted to take military action against Earth? Unyo looked grim. Based on our latest intelligence and the research from Commander Do-hyun's team, I believe any direct conflict with humans would result in catastrophic losses for Council forces. Surely our superior numbers and technology would prevail, Yona argued. Would they? Unyo countered. We've run simulations. Even assuming humans have no weapons beyond those we know about, which is unlikely, their natural abilities make them formidable. Add in the fact that they evolved on a high-gravity world and can operate in environments that would incapacitate our forces. He let the implications hang in the air. So we do nothing? Yona demanded. We just allow them to remain among us, pretending to be harmless until they decide to reveal their true intentions? There is another option, Taiho said, speaking up despite protocol that usually kept non-council members silent during sessions. We could accept Ambassador Jiho's invitation, send a delegation to Earth, and put our representatives at their mercy, Yona scoffed. Or demonstrate our good faith, Yunbin countered. 300 years of peaceful relations shouldn't be dismissed so easily. As the debate continued, Jiwoo approached Taiho. I've been thinking about what you said earlier, that we might be missing something important. And? Taiho prompted. What if the reason humans have remained peaceful isn't just goodwill? What if there's something they need from us? Taiho considered this. Like what? I don't know yet. But maybe if we understood their motivations better. Before they could pursue this line of thought, the chamber doors opened. A council aide entered, looking nervous. High Counselor, the aide addressed Min Jae. Ambassador Jiho Yoon is requesting to address the council again. He says he has new information that may help resolve the current situation. Min Jae looked around at the other council members. Shall we hear him? After a brief discussion, the council agreed. Ambassador Jiho was escorted in, still alone and unarmed, but this time his normally composed expression showed signs of strain. Thank you for seeing me again, Jiho began. I understand the council has been in nearly continuous session, discussing how to respond to recent events. We have many concerns, Minji said diplomatically. I'm sure you do. Jiho nodded. And I'm here to address some of them directly. First, I want to inform you that all human vessels in council space have maintained their standard positions. We have not mobilized or taken any action that could be perceived as threatening. What about the cultural representatives you mentioned? Yona asked. They have arrived at their destinations and are engaged in exactly the work I described, sharing information about Earth and humans to prevent panic based on rumors and misinformation. Ambassador, Minjae said, the council has viewed some concerning materials from Earth. Entertainment media showing activities that would be lethal to most council species. Ah, Jiho said, understanding dawning on his face. You've been watching our recreation videos. Recreation? Yona repeated incredulously. The activities shown would kill any of us instantly, which is precisely why we didn't share them before, Jiho pointed out. When your representatives first visited Earth, they were traumatized just by observing normal human behavior. We learned to moderate our activities and discussions when in the company of council species. You mean you've been pretending to be weak? Yona accused. We've been considerate, Jiho corrected. The same way you might avoid discussing certain topics with a child too young to understand them. The comparison did not sit well with the council members. Murmurs of offense spread through the chamber. Perhaps that was poorly phrased, Jiho acknowledged, but the principle is the same. We adjusted our behavior out of consideration for your comfort, not out of deception. What do humans want from the council, Ambassador? Taiho asked suddenly. In 300 years of membership, what has Earth gained? Jiho turned to him with interest. An insightful question, Archivist. What we've gained is community. Humans evolved on a world that tried to kill us at every turn. We learned to survive through cooperation and innovation. When we reached the stars and found other intelligent life, we saw an opportunity to be part of something larger than ourselves. You expect us to believe humans joined the council for friendship? Yona asked skeptically. Is that so hard to believe? Jiho countered. That beings who evolved in constant danger might value peace. That a species with a history of conflict might recognize the benefits of cooperation. But you're so much stronger than us, Jiwoo said. You could take whatever you wanted. Jiho's expression softened. Strength isn't just about physical capability, young archivist. True strength lies in restraint, in choosing not to use power simply because you possess it. The chamber was silent as his words sank in. Then High Counselor Minjae spoke. Ambassador, you mentioned new information that might help resolve our current situation? Yes, Jiho said, straightening. I've been authorized to share complete and unrestricted data about Earth and human capabilities with the Council. No more concealment, no more moderated presentations. The full truth. He produced a small data device and placed it on the central table. This contains everything. Our biology, our history, our technology, our military capabilities. It also includes a formal treaty proposal that would establish new protocols for human-council relations based on full transparency. The council members stared at the device as if it might explode. Why now? Do-hyun asked. Why offer this after centuries of concealment? Because secrecy is no longer an option, Jiho said simply. And because we believe the only way forward is through understanding. We are not asking the Council to trust us blindly. We're giving you the means to know us completely. This could be a trick, Yona warned. The data could be falsified. The 3 days of data analysis passed in a blur of activity. Taeho Kim barely slept as he pored over the historical records provided by Ambassador Jiho. The archives became his home, with food brought in by assistants who found him still working at all hours. Jiwoo Park helped, organizing the massive amount of information into manageable sections. There's so much here, she said on the second day. Human history is violent, but also remarkable, Taeho replied. Look at how they overcame disaster after disaster. Environmental catastrophes, diseases, wars, they survived it all and still developed a complex civilization. It's like they were shaped by crisis, Jiwoo observed. Exactly, Taeho nodded. Every time they faced extinction, they adapted and grew stronger. Across the capital, similar intensive reviews were happening. Dr. Sungmin Kang worked with a team of xenobiologists, analyzing human physiology in greater detail than ever before. Director Junho Han and Commander Do-Yun Choi assessed military information, running new simulations based on the complete data. When the council reconvened, tension filled the chamber. The findings would determine their response to Earth's treaty proposal. High Counselor Min-jae Hwang called the session to order. We are here to review the analysis of the data provided by Earth. Dr. Sungmin, please begin with your report on human biology. Sungmin stepped forward, looking tired but focused. My team has verified the accuracy of the biological data. Humans are indeed as physically capable as our earlier research suggested, perhaps even more so. She activated a display showing detailed scans of human anatomy. Their bones are not just denser than ours, they're designed to withstand impacts that would shatter our skeletal structures. Their muscles can generate force far beyond what their size suggests. Their skin contains layers that protect against radiation, temperature extremes, and many toxins. So they're basically indestructible? Counselor Yona Shin asked. Not indestructible, Sungmin corrected, but extremely resilient. They can survive injuries that would be fatal to us. Their bodies can repair damage that our medical technology would struggle to treat, and they've evolved resistance to many substances that are lethal to council species. Like the Nexar gas incident, Hyunbin Lee noted. Exactly, Sungmin agreed. What would kill any of us in minutes causes only minor irritation to humans. And their mental capabilities? Min-jae asked. Their neural structures are similar to ours in organization, but with some key differences, Sungmin explained. Humans process fear differently. Where most species freeze or flee from danger, humans are capable of functioning effectively even in high-stress situations. They call it adrenaline response, a chemical reaction that actually enhances their already formidable physical abilities under threat. The implications were clear. Humans were not just stronger than council species. They became even more dangerous when threatened. Commander Do-hyun, Min-jae turned to him. Your assessment of their military capabilities? Do-hyun stood, his expression grave. Based on the data provided, humans possess military technology far beyond what they've previously disclosed. Their weapons are designed for environments we can barely survive in. Their tactics assume levels of endurance no council species possesses. He activated a new display showing human military formations and equipment. Most concerning is their approach to warfare. Where council military doctrine focuses on overwhelming force applied precisely, human warfare often involves what they call asymmetric approaches, using minimal resources to achieve maximum impact. You mean they're more efficient killers? Yona said flatly. They're more adaptive, Do-hyun corrected. Their history shows they rarely win through superior force. They win by changing the rules of engagement, by thinking differently than their opponents expect. So in a direct conflict? Min-jae asked. Do-hyun's answer was blunt. The combined military forces of the entire council would struggle to defeat even a fraction of Earth's defense capability. Silence fell over the chamber as the council absorbed this assessment. Archivist Taeho, Min-jae finally said, what have you learned from the historical records? Taeho stepped forward, aware that his report might be the most important. Military capability was one thing, but intention was another entirely. The historical data confirms that humans evolved on a world that tried to kill them at every turn, he began. Their earliest ancestors were prey animals hunted by predators. They survived by developing intelligence, tools, and social cooperation. He showed images of early humans, small, vulnerable creatures huddled together for protection. They had no natural weapons, no claws or fangs. Their only advantages were their minds and their endurance. But they became predators themselves, Yona pointed out. Yes, Tejo acknowledged. As they developed, they moved from prey to apex predators. But more importantly, they continued to face threats from their environment, natural disasters, climate changes, diseases. Each crisis forced them to adapt or die. He switched to new images, humans building shelters, developing medicine, creating complex societies. Their response to adversity wasn't just to survive, but to solve problems permanently. They didn't just endure cold, they invented heating. They didn't just survive diseases, they created cures. This is all very interesting, Yona said impatiently. But what does it tell us about their intentions toward the Council? It tells us everything, Tejo replied firmly. Humans don't just react to threats, they anticipate and prepare for them. They don't just fight enemies, they try to understand them. And most importantly, throughout their history, whenever they've achieved dominance, they've consistently shown a pattern of protecting those weaker than themselves. To illustrate his point, Tejo showed a series of examples from human history. Powerful groups establishing rules to protect minorities, victorious nations rebuilding defeated enemies, wealthy societies creating systems to support their most vulnerable members, but they've also committed terrible acts of violence against each other, Yona countered. Yes, Tejo admitted. Their capacity for both compassion and cruelty is remarkable, but there's a clear pattern in their development. As their society advanced, they increasingly chose cooperation over conflict, protection over domination. He paused, then added, "There's one more significant discovery in these records. I found references to a conflict between humans and another advanced species, the Arcovians. This caught everyone's attention. The Arcovian Empire was known to have collapsed mysteriously thousands of years ago, long before the Council formed. The records show that the Arcovians attacked Earth, believing it to be an easy conquest," Tejo continued. They had no idea what they were facing. Humans defended themselves with a ferocity the Arcovians couldn't comprehend. But what's most significant isn't that humans won, it's how they behaved afterward. He displayed ancient images showing human ships providing aid to damaged Arcovian vessels, human medics treating wounded Arcovians. They didn't destroy their attackers. Even when they had the capability, Tejo said, they offered peace. They provided humanitarian aid to civilian populations caught in the crossfire. And when the Arcovian government collapsed, humans helped their survivors relocate to suitable worlds. So you're saying we should trust them because they were merciful once? Yona asked skeptically. I'm saying their pattern of behavior is consistent, Tejo replied. They are capable of terrible violence, yes. But they prefer peaceful solutions when given the choice, and they place extraordinary value on protecting those they see as under their care. High Counselor Minje considered all the reports thoughtfully. So to summarize, humans are physically more capable than we previously understood. Their military technology and tactics are superior to our own. And historically, they have shown both the capacity for violence and a preference for peace. That is correct. High Counselor, Dohyun confirmed. The question remains, Minje said. How should the Council respond to their treaty proposal? The debate that followed was intense. Counselor Yona continued to advocate for defensive measures, arguing that humans couldn't be trusted regardless of their history. Others pointed out the futility of military opposition given Dohyun's assessment. Some suggested accepting the treaty was their only viable option. There is another consideration, Hyunbin said eventually. If we reject this treaty, what message does that send? That we fear them simply for being what they are? That we cannot accept difference? This goes beyond difference, Yona snapped. They are fundamentally dangerous to us. Only if they choose to be, Tejo interjected. For 300 years, they've chosen peace. As the debate continued, an aide entered the chamber and approached High Counselor Minje, whispering urgently in his ear. Minje's expression changed from concern to surprise. It seems, he announced to the chamber, that Earth has sent another representative to address us. Senior Ambassador Yunha Ryu has arrived and requests an audience. Another human? Yona asked warily. Yes, Minji confirmed. Apparently, Ambassador Yunha outranks Jiho and has come directly from Earth with a special message. After a brief discussion, the council agreed to hear this new ambassador. When the doors opened, a small figure entered. Ambassador Yunha Ryu was shorter than Ambassador Jiho, with long black hair streaked with silver and a face lined with age.